these headphones on so we can communicate, because it's going to be me and Richie. We've never taken the boat out, and we fight. And he's an imperialist, which means he takes over, you know, like imperialists do. And yeah, because I'm savage. Anyway, I'm nervous wreck. Dogs are here. Bob is here. Hold on, I'll show you. Got my course ready. I got the dog. Somewhere I have a husband. I'm gonna vomit. Check this out too, hold on. And I got a bob. I have a very, very big bob. Bob looks huge right now. Oh, it's a sharp turn. Okay. And with that, we threw the lines and left the dock. I didn't take any video on the way to Cape Charles. I was just too nervous. My first trip alone, without Dad, and with Richie, who was very new.
Six hours later.
After we docked, I got off the boat and squealed with delight, and then made this video. I don't think I can quite describe what it feels like to be sitting out here in a new town on Bob. We didn't get very much time at Cape Charles, which is kind of a bummer because it's a really cute town. We were able to rent a golf cart and drive around during the day and get sunset. And I really just adored Cape Charles at sunset. The lights, the water, the sun setting on the horizon was just really cute, and it was fun to see. There's also a huge ship's anchorage right outside of the inlet to Cape Charles, and that just has these big giant ships, and you can see them off in the distance, and all their little lights are on, and everybody there is waiting to go somewhere. So it's a huge ship's anchorage, and sometimes you'll see their tenders or dinghies coming back and forth and coming into Cape Charles. After watching sunset over the anchorage, we drove into Cape Charles and got an opportunity to look at the Christmas lights and all of their winter decorations. This was just a few days after New Year's, so the decorations were still up, but there was hardly anyone in town. The people that we did come across were very friendly, but strongly encouraged that we come back to Cape Charles in the summertime to get a true vibe of the town. The next day, we went exploring around Cape Charles Harbor. Hey! Oh, look at that. The next morning, we left Cape Charles and headed back to Deltaville. And although I was still really nervous about being on our first trip, I'm proud to report Richie and I did pretty good. The trip back to Deltaville was without any problems, and we even backed into the slip after 2 tries. We packed up and headed home, where Dad and I packed and left right away for our trip to Ecuador. We decided to fly to Ecuador because there were so many winter storms brewing that it just didn't look like a fun trip on Bob to the Bahamas, and a horse had stepped on my foot, so I was really not mobile enough to be good crew. So it was really a quick trip to Panama City from Dulles or in DC, and then down into Manta, Ecuador. This is the condominium that we stayed in Ecuador. Rental and real estate prices are so affordable that it's almost hard to resist going for a trip. This is a cute little tuk-tuk, and they will drive you all around the village. Are you having fun?
Yes, I'm having fun.
So cute. This is the village of San Clemente where we stayed while we were on our initial tour of Ecuador. You take the tuk-tuk around the village, and for about $5 they will take you on a 2-hour tour. The village is a fishing village, and it sits right next to the Pacific Ocean. I should say it sits on the Pacific Ocean.
Cool stairs.
And they do a lot of little boat launches out and do a lot of net fishing, actually. And here's Dad enjoying the view and exploring this new and fascinating village and culture and climate. The neat thing about these little villages is the hideaways. There's all these little roads and houses and businesses tucked away in a place where you would not think there'd be anything. So if you're exploring, take some time to explore inside and behind the actual village. In addition to being a strong fishing community, because that's the backbone of their economy, the coastal communities, and I'm sure Ecuador as a whole, have a lot of religious statues. It seems to have a strong Catholic faith. There's a nativity scene, so it's I would say a conservative culture in many ways, but also is a culture that really loves a reason for fiesta. They love to have parties, and they love get-togethers, and they love community gatherings. So I think it's a balance between celebrating and also worshiping their faith. I think they keep a pretty good balance. The other thing I loved about Ecuador was all the colors, the architecture, the people saying "Hola, buenos dias." It's just very friendly, a very warm communities.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's a boat.
Boat. Yeah. It's the Captain James of Ecuador. Garage to the Hotel Marshall. Restaurant. Another pharmacy. 20, 30, 40.
The other thing I personally really love about Ecuador is their use of color in architecture. They use blues, greens, yellows, oranges. It's not just ricky-ticky suburbia where every house looks the same and every car is the same color. There's just so much diversity in color and way of life. Later that night, we took a tuk-tuk out into the same village for dinner, and it had a very different vibe at night. Later that night, we took a tuk-tuk out into the same village for dinner, and it had a very different vibe at night.
I love it. You don't play it.
Biden Hotel, fitness center.
¿Puedes poner con la principal o solo con...? Sí. Sí, ok.
God, I got plenty. We'll do again. Tell them we'll go again.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I said, it's
It's on the down low. It's not as obvious.
okay.
But in bigger cities, you would see like girls in bars or like.
Yeah, how would you know? The question I was asking was actually about prostitution in Ecuador because I didn't see anything obvious. So that was the answer. Local men know. Anyway, the next morning, we got up early and drove an hour away to go look at a organic farm with hacienda. So this property is for sale, and Dad and I decided to go out to dinner and have a real conversation about whether or not we wanted to purchase a 150-acre organic produce farm in Ecuador. The farm hasn't been utilized, and it's overgrown, but it's really cool. So back to the village we went for dinner.
There's a fancy
Asesinos! Asesinos!
Asesinos.
We're all going inside of there. I probably should have recorded the conversation, but I forgot to. And about 10 days later, I made this video. So, my hair, oh my god, I'm trying to grow it out, y'all. So it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm here in the condo in Ecuador. And Dad and I have been negotiating and looking at a finca. If you speak Spanish, you might know what a finca is, but if you don't, then a finca is a farm. And when we came here, we wanted to look at property. We did not expect to find a property on day one, and we certainly did not expect to put a deposit on the property. And we didn't really know that we were going to be here today, 10 days later, on a Wednesday. We're supposed to be closing today. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I feel like I'm stepping off the face of the earth. So this morning I have to call the bank to make a transfer, and then this afternoon we are going to what they call the notary office to officiate the purchase of a 150-acre hacienda in Ecuador. Yeah, I just said that. I feel so weird about this because I've been like off and on talking about Ecuador for like a while now, and I just can't believe it's happening. So I'm gonna get dressed, clean this chaos up, and call the bank and keep everybody posted. Peace out, y'all.